summit. The money
no, I don't want to listen to that anymore. Let's listen to some conversation here in regards to the next cabinet. Rigathi Gachagua and Musalia Mudavadi spoke about it sometime last week on Friday.
Who took advantage of well-intentioned peaceful protests to loot property, to steal, to maim, to hurt. Those are idiots. I agree with you. They are even more idiots and more idiotic as those who try to take advantage of the whole scenario to settle political scores with those they don't support or those they have a problem with. Trying to apportion blame, trying to say this and that. Those are even more idiotic than those idiots.
Wengi tukisimama hapa tuna huzuni kwa sababu maisha yamepotea kwa hiyo vurugu. Tuna huzuni kwa sababu pia wengi wamepoteza rasilimali zao kupitia kwa biashara ambazo zimeharibika.
So the deputy president thinks that we have some idiots in the country, and there are some that are more idiotic than others. Then Musalia Mudavadi regrets the impact of some of those demonstrations on property that was lost. Of course, later this week, the National Assembly will have the opportunity to vet the cabinet nominees, starting with the Interior Cabinet Secretary, that is Professor Kithure Kindiki, all the way up until Sunday when they'll have the last nominee. Mheshimiwa Wandeto, there has been a few voices, including that of the Deputy President, saying that in fact he was able to secure the interest of Mount Kenya region, that you didn't lose anything. But first, how is the region receiving the reconstitution of the government?
Okay, Sam, maybe I can talk about Tetu because I cannot talk about the entire region at my level. I represent the people of Tetu, and the people of Tetu during this crisis have also made their voice known. I think we personally welcome the government of national unity because some we have said, if you look at the crisis in the country, let us make it all hands on deck. Senator Onyonka, here my good brother, he's always here telling us which way to go, and we have gone to his party ODM and asked them, also come and assist us because they may have some good ideas, for the country. So what we are saying here, Sam, is that I think if you look at what is happening in the country, President William Ruto, in his wisdom, has reached out to members of the ODM party. 4 members are joining our government. Of course, there has been the back and forth, whether it's the party or the individuals joining, but I believe that possibly does not change the factor significantly. But I think as Kenya Kwanza government, we have tried, what we could. The country is going through some sort of a crisis, and it is very, very important that going forward, we have a government that unites the country. We have a government that is the face of Kenya. And I think as Mount Kenya people, if you are looking at it from a numerical point of view, Sam, and in this country, I know people are obsessed with how many ministers each region got, how many permanent secretary, principal secretaries each region got. So if that's the arithmetic sum you're looking at here, I would say maybe Mount Kenya hasn't lost. I think we had 8 cabinet slots. People who come from Mount Kenya, there were 8 in cabinet. I think right now there are 7. There are still 2 more slots, so there's still an opportunity. We still have the deputy president.
So you had 8 CSs, now you have 7.
We have 7, but there are still 2
but
slots.
You haven't lost.
We haven't. I mean, there are still 2 slots, so we are still hoping the
Which
2 slots.
2 slots?
I think the cabinet.
CS and Attorney General. Yes,
so we don't know. What else would be coming. So maybe the Attorney General, and we complete our 8 or even more. But however, we are open. We've said if what is going to move the country forward is by accommodating a few other people who we believe, maybe have some good ideas and some good capabilities for this country, so be it. So
what is, because you said you cannot speak for the region, but you can speak for Tetu. In 2022, you went around your constituency and region, and actually country, saying that there's someone who came and spoiled your government that was led by President Uhuru Kenyatta. That someone was Raila Odinga, and that's why you voted for William Ruto. Raila Odinga is now working with the president. Well, he says that the 4 members have gone there individually, not as a party. What are the people saying?
I think if you look at the politics of Mount Kenya, and also maybe Tetu in particular, the last general election was a very, very defining moment for us, because William Ruto was not a Kikuyu, and we voted for him. Raila Odinga actually got about 15% in a lot of places in Mount Kenya, an average, I think, of 15 to 20%. The people of Mount Kenya did not have a candidate, but they all woke up early and went and voted, which means they are very accepting of people who are not necessarily their own. So if you ask me how people are receiving Raila, it is the same way they received Ruto. And even that time, some voted for Raila, some voted for Ruto. So I think the people of, if I would say the people of Tetu, they are open.
Is that what you think, or that's what they're saying?
They are open, and I was in Tetu the last 2 weekends, and I've not had anybody. In fact, people are saying, if this is what is going to bring unity and quell the protest and quell and help us sort out the issues of the high cost of living and all the other challenges that we are facing in the country, so be it. And that's why we welcome, the appointment of someone like John Bandi. He's my colleague in Parliament and my senior. He has been very vocal about very, very many issues. I've listened to his discourses. They are very well, informed. So as Minister of Treasury, we are all now looking up to him to basically steer this country out of the debt crisis, which he has been, criticizing, out of the fiscal deficit that he has been talking about, out of, even the botched finance bill. I think now the onus is on him to give us alternatives. We have challenges with power. We are looking at our Opio Wandai to assist us. How do we make Kenya Power provide to us reliable and adequate power? How do we, improve all the issues that
and you think he will?
And I think that because we are saying now is now bringing all ideas together. We are now trying to say this is a government of national unity. It is one country. We want to be united. We have one goal, irrespective of our political affiliations. There are things that go beyond, our political affiliations. When it comes to nation building, when it comes to uniting the country, when it comes to moving this economic forward, when it comes to lifting our people out of the challenges they are having, when it comes to creating job opportunities for our youth, that is a shared responsibility of the entire country.
Daisy, you're smiling. Why?
Because I think that this is an affront to the movement for change that has begun. I think it's an insult to Kenyans. I think what we are seeing is a total lack of principles within our political landscape. There is no political ideology. It is not a government of national unity. Which unity? Which people are they uniting? You cannot say that by bringing in ODM you have united the country. Which country have you united? We have a leadership, a political leadership that is completely incompatible. We have incompatible goals between the leadership and the people that they purport to lead. All these things that Honorable Wandeto is saying, that they have now formed this broad-based government that is actually not inclusive, by the way.
It's a broad-based government for eating.
It is for, first of all, emasculating, silencing the voice. Listen,
I think Daisy can actually make her points clearly without your assistance.
Yeah, it's about silencing the voice of the opposition, because we know what happened with the handshake. It does not matter that they say that there is no coalition agreement. Even under the handshake, there was no coalition agreement. In fact, we didn't even see members of the ODM being absorbed into government, but there was cooperation. And what did that cooperation entail? A silencing of any whistleblowing of government malfeasance and a joint collaboration in that corruption and eating. So what we are going to see moving forward are people covering up. This has got nothing to do with the welfare of the people. And I think that to listen and hear the Deputy President calling our Gen Zs idiots and everything, and talking about the loss of property. Nobody is mourning the loss of lives, these young lives that were cut short, because these were peaceful protests, peaceful protesters who were demonstrating against the tone-deaf nature of our government, right? Our leadership, parliamentarians and the executive. The government meted out untold terror on these people. The violence came when the government sent in goons. Nobody has investigated. Police used live ammunition. The government is not commiserating with the families that have lost their loved ones. People still can't find their loved ones. There are people being abducted. I mean, the DCI will come and tell us, we saw Macharia Gaitho literally being, manhandled and bundled into a car, and they came and they told us that that was an arrest. Is that how arrests are effected in this country, through abductions and terrorism by the state? So no, I don't think that we are at a good place. And for Kenyans, we must, this thing has got to be, it has to go, the movement has to go beyond Gen Z. It has to be Generation Zote. All of us need to join the Gen Z in objecting to what our political class are doing. And I hope that Parliament will rise to the occasion. The president, when he made his speech, he said among some of the measures that he was going to take, aside from dismissing his cabinet, was that he was going to now bring a leaner government, and we were going to have at least 15 ministries. If I remember him correctly, there was going to be consolidation and we were going to have around 15 ministries. The guy has gone for...
I don't remember him giving a figure. He only said that it was going to be lean.
It was going to... Okay, I will go in for... I'll have to look for that figure 15, where I got it from, because I think I heard him talking about, you know, that we were going to look at something like having 15 ministry, a consolidation of ministries so that there would be better efficiency. But not only has he gone and brought back those that he dismissed for various reasons as cited in his Gazette notice. Now he says that they have come back with new terms and contracts. Excuse me, do you remember when we were entertained with performance contracts being signed when CSs were being locked out for coming out late? Were those not performance contracts that they were signing? In his Gazette notice, he actually dismissed them for failure to attain those, to attain the terms and conditions. He has brought back those people, and then he has gone to raid the opposition. And they seem to think that Kenyans are a bunch of fools by telling us, no, these have gone of their own volition. You have taken the two deputy leaders, you have taken the minority leader in parliament. So essentially, you have broken down the opposition. You have taken away the opposition. If this was a country of the rule of law, then we would just have to dissolve everything. And I am glad that there are two petitioners that have gone to seek the dissolution of parliament, rightfully so, on the gender principle, because the constitution allows us to seek on those grounds. But parliament needs to be dissolved. It is not serving the interests of the people. And so it should not be allowed to carry on this charade. These people must not be allowed to do this. Okay. The movement for change should not be short-circuited. We must join the Gen Z.
All right, Daisy. So the president was asked if indeed he had listened to Kenyans, and he said, I am listening. How else would I have 12 CSs out of my cabinet? It is the first time in the history of Kenya that more than half of cabinet have left in one go. That is why I'm saying even those that have come back, the terms will be different. We may have been friends or acquaintances, but terms are different now. So here is what he said while in Kilifi in the company of former cabinet secretary for gender, Aisha Jumwa.
Nimuamini rais wetu kutoka mwanzo, na mpaka sasa bado namuamini na naendelea kumuunga mkono. Anachokiona kule mbele mimi siwezi kukiona. Kwa hivyo nataka niseme na support, naunga mkono uteuzi wa kaka yetu Ali Hassan Joho ndani ya baraza la mawaziri.
All right, so there's something missing there, because we wanted to hear also what the president said, because he said that hata msahau Aisha Jumwa, kwamba siwezi kukuacha nyuma huyu, kumwacha nyuma huyu Aisha Jumwa anarudi serikalini hivi karibuni. I don't know what that means, but we'll wait and see. Yes, Senator, you're next, but also tell me, because your political party, your party leader says that the 4 individuals have gone to government as individuals. There's no coalition with the UDA party, but also he is working with the government to become the chairperson of the AUC. What arrangement is that, and do we really still have ODM in the minority in the 2 houses of parliament, or what exactly is the arrangement now?
Unfortunately, Sam, I'm now most probably the only remaining leader of the opposition, and I want you to be addressing me as the leader of the opposition.
You and Babu.
We have no government.
Sorry, say that again so that it's...
I am saying that from now on, I want you to take me as the leader of the opposition.
Where?
Because my party has decided to go and cohabit with the people. You know, Wandeto's my lovely brother, and you know I respect him, but we like joking about these things. And when I was telling Wandeto that, and you know, Sammy, how many times we've been here, you people are misgoverning, you people are squandering state resources, there's corruption everywhere, we are mistreating our youths, we are employing our relatives and friends. I actually get completely smitten, Sammy, when I see Deputy President Gachagua now talk about how things are turning around. I sat here, I said, my leader Gachagua, you are talking about this government is for what? 2 companies that you have got shareholders and stakeholders. Now, Raila's raided him. Raila's now moved into the bedroom, like he's saying. And this is what it's Sammy. This is the dysfunctionality of Kenyan politics. This is the fact that every presidential elections, when they are over, look at what happens to the vice president and the president. After 2 years, they start fighting. My analysis and my honest observation is very simple. They are fighting over the loot. They are not fighting over policy. No. They are not fighting over what are we going to do with our youths. They are not talking about do we need free education or not. Gachagua cannot stand up today and say, I have disagreed with the president because I've told him let us set up free education, but he has refused. But Gachagua will say, you know, my people, they are removing my people from key positions. My people. They are eating alone. They are leaving me outside the kitchen.
Why did you say that?
It's implicative. You don't have to be told. When you're a clever man, if somebody talks, you don't have to understand at he has said
but
that.
Even you, Sam, why are you?
You know, Sam, Onyonka started.
You remember even when President Kenyatta at one point talked about tutakula nyama na nyinyi mtamani. So those
that has been the narrative.
Onyonka started very well.
That is the narrative. Number 2,
Senator, just hold
Sammy,
on.
The other
wait.
Okay, I'm waiting.
You're talking about implicative.
Yes.
If we are to quote anybody here.
Yes.
If you cannot do verbatim, at least let's have a clip of it.
Okay, let me give it to you.
Yes.
Do you remember when Gachagua was talking about when he was attacking the boss of an NNIS?
Yes.
What was he talking about?
That the president did not give intel. I mean,
that's number 1.
Haji did not give intel.
And then number 2, consequently, the reason why they didn't get the intel is because Haji had removed his people. He said it.
He said that he removed his people?
Yes.
He said he fired any officers?
That's what I'm saying. Those were his people.
How do you say, I mean, how did they become his people?
Why was he complaining about it?
He's the deputy president of Kenya.
But why would you complain and yet you're in the same government with the head of state? You call him quietly and say there's a mistake here. Why is he public saying? Yesterday you heard him say he loves his people. You'll have to forgive him for loving his people completely. Now, if he doesn't love me and I'm a Kenyan, he just loves, he says he loves his people, Mount Kenya. Then what is Gachagua doing? He wants me to work with him, or he wants my sister here to work with him, but we are not his people. Now, what is it?
We are nobody's
what is he saying? You know, this is what leadership has done to us. Leadership is taking...
And now your party has contributed 4 people.
I am going to oversight those people from the day they get sworn in, including the vetting. I'll be there.
And I hope you are going to reject.
I will give...
you must reject.
No, I will ask them.
Vetting does not come to the Senate.
The what?
Vetting does not come to the Senate.
No, I'm going to the National Assembly as a friend of the House.
Oh, you can do that.
I'm allowed to do that.
Interesting.
So, and when they start eating, I will tell them they are eating. When they start taking the loot, if they begin to create the changes, and one day, let me tell you, my brother, I swear in the name of God, if William Ruto as president was to guide the team he has got to start bringing the necessary changes to improve on our country, I'll say, President, go boy, you're great. But if we are going to deal with this mediocrity that we see, where public funds are being stolen, private deals are being arranged with, where we are treating our students and people like they're idiots and fools, where we are handling transfers of money for the old people as if it's our own kitty. Well, I mean, can't we run a proper government that takes care of its people. Sam, this is what I suffer
Senator, okay, let me come to you first, Mheshimiwa Ndeto. So in this arrangement, what does it change in Parliament? Because you've had clear party lines. Well, are they clear? Majority party, minority party. Now, 4 members of ODM have moved into the government. And of course, by affiliation, it appears that ODM may have some working arrangement with Kenya Kwanza. How do you continue with oversight?
I think I do not want to speak for Azimio because really I don't hold any brief for them. But what we have gathered here today is that the 4 members of ODM who have joined the government has come in individual capacity, which then means Azimio, which had a minority leader in parliament, it had a whip, and etc. Actually, the whip is from Wiper. The minority leader was from ODM, and I think they were in parliament in their capacity as Azimio coalition, not as ODM, not as Wiper, not as all the other constituent parties of Azimio. So it is up to Azimio to reorganize their leadership and present a new leadership in parliament. But I think Sam, all eyes are now on the 20-member committee on appointments. Yeah, the president has done his part as per the constitution. He has forwarded some names, to parliament for consideration. You cannot fault him for proposing anybody because there is nobody that I've seen who is proposed where we feel the president has, been outside the constitution or outside the law. So it's up to now Parliament to come and vet those people based, of course, on the different, requirements, from integrity to their capabilities, for the different roles. So ours is to ask the Committee on Appointments to do a very, very thorough job. Then their report will come to Parliament, and to also ask my fellow parliamentarians that this time let us apply our minds on the report that comes, from the Committee of Appointments.
You mean this time? What happened last time?
Well, we've always done this, but I'm just giving them one more challenge that when this report comes, some like picking words from me.
That's not.
But I'm saying, or rather, let me just put it this way, that it is important that we apply our minds when the report comes to Parliament, and we scrutinize, whatever, the capabilities of each individual, and just ensure that only the best, make it to cabinet. Okay. I don't think there will be anything wrong for us
but still
to say
you haven't answered
certain
my question.
people. Sorry?
You haven't answered my question.
Yes.
Because oversight, of course you can do it at the plenary, but also the committees.
Yeah.
The committees are comprised, so you have members from the majority party and members from the minority party. Majority party obviously has a higher number. Now, ODM is working with the Kenya Kwanza in some arrangement. Yeah. So what happens to that?
Sam, I don't know whether your concern is that the report that comes to Parliament.
No.
Or is it that the general operations
of the future of Parliament?
Or the future of Parliament.
Yes.
I've answered and I've said it's up to Azimio to reorganize, itself. Only 4 members out of, I think, 100 plus have come, and I think Azimio has done a good job.
Do you see any problem there? Because UDA party is the governing party.
Yeah.
It has contributed members to the cabinet. They are the majority in the House. ODM, I don't know whether it's a governing party, but it has contributed members to the cabinet.
But we have just said here they have come in their personal,
and
capacity.
That?
ODM continues to be, the ODM leader himself.
I'm asking you believe that?
The ODM leader himself has said it time and again.
You believe that?
I'm coming to whether I believe it or not. I'm first of all giving, background of my argument. The ODM leader himself has said that ODM remains intact. Onyonka here has said now he's a leader of opposition. I don't know where, maybe in Citizen TV.
Because,
when we meet here.
Yes, Honorable.
No, wait, I finish. Wait, I finish Onyonka.
On Citizen TV. Let me
because I'm saying it, because Onyonka. And that's on a light note.
Let me help him.
And that's on a light note because in Parliament there is Sewat Madzayo who is who leads the minority.
I will answer you.
But if I believe Azimio is going to pick new leadership We have very competent people like Amiri Odhiambo, who I think jokingly has been proposed as a possible minority leader.
I mean jokingly.
There was a joke in Parliament last week where he actually sat in the seat of the minority leader, and and there was this banter in Parliament happening about how she's fit. And I'm not campaigning for anybody, but I'm saying ODM, and Azimio has enough options in terms of new leadership, to basically continue taking, the government in Parliament.
So Senator, you've been. I'll come to you, Daisy. Senator, you've been in the House in Parliament since 2007.
Yes.
Does this cause any problem, especially when it comes to composition of committees and what exactly Parliament is supposed to do in oversighting the executive?
Brilliant question. I will answer it before I talk to my brother Wandeto. But let me tell you Wandeto this way. I don't want to be in leadership in the House. What I'm saying, if you had listened to me very carefully, is that I'm courageous enough and reasonable enough to accept my state right now. And that is, I will not support this government until I have reason why to support it, whether it's a William Ruto's government or whether it is Raila Odinga's government, whether it's both of them. The reality is that I have outstanding issues about what has just happened. The other day, Sami, we had NADCO. What was NADCO saying? Members of Parliament cannot cross from their political parties to do what? So was that for sure? All right. Number two, we could have left President William Ruto to appoint his government. We could have given him conditions which we expect that would make the country more governable and more friendly, which he would then agree with a signed agreement, which then we can stay outside government to oversight him to see what we do. Right now, if William Ruto decides to fire Wandai, what do you do? If he decides to fire John Badi, what rules has he given John? What is John Badi was to do? Like me, I want us to have free education in Kenya. Does John Badi have that capacity? No. We should have put that as a memorandum which we engage with the UDA government. This is just a sham. But let me tell you what you have asked me, Sami. Our system is deliberately, like now, broken down to make sure that it does not function effectively in order for it to do its responsibilities and its role. Right now, if we found, for example, that the government is continuing with corruption, and we have already joined the same government into its governance, how are you going to tell this government that they are stealing? I mean, these are the issues, Wandeto. The point we were raising is that we accept that the government has challenges. And I have said severally, the problem is not with President William Ruto. We need genuine and sincere leadership of this country to go step by step. How do we function? How are we managing our resources? How are we treating ourselves as a leadership? How are we treating our people? Sam, that is why I'm saying, if you look at what is happening right now, I'm going to go to the Senate. Aaron Cheruiyot is on the other side. Like my brother has said, Stuart Mazayo is here. Look at the embarrassment my brother Sifuna has just got. The other day he said, you see, the party leader said, we don't know what is going on. The party leader is drinking wine in Mombasa with Joho and other guys. They are now sitting at this Mombasa hotel saying, the following day you see a statement, we have agreed to join government, by the way. There was... I mean, we must be a people who are much more responsible than we are.
Daisy.
It can't be a deal today, a deal tomorrow, cash today, cash tomorrow.
Daisy, so what problem is the president dealing with here?
I think you would need to ask him that question, because I think what William Ruto has done is that he's squandered a golden opportunity. But then it also tells us something about our political class, that our political class as presently constituted is obsolete.
Absolutely.
They lack any ideas or creativity to move Kenya forward. And that is why we continue to have the politics of yesteryear. This is the politics of since the 1990s, right? Coalition, handshake, unity, whatever, broad base, it's the same thing. So we have a leadership that cannot envision a different Kenya. They are not fit for purpose, and therefore they should be rejected. Parliament has now been weakened further because Parliament is already weak. Parliament has not been playing its oversight role. But now, with this absorption into cabinet of this, I mean, you know, even the way they talk about this thing, it's like they think that Kenyans are absolute fools. Idiots. You know, to come and tell us that, no, it's not a coalition agreement, that, no, these people walked of their own volition into the, they are free to go. Come on. We were not born yesterday. Really, the thing is, as the people of Kenya, because remember that these guys exercise delegated authority. Sovereign power belongs to the people. They exercise delegated authority, and they are supposed to be doing that exercise for the benefit of the people. They have not done it. Right now, as we speak, from the day that they were nominated, they have been going around celebrating as though it is a done deal. Parliament hasn't even vetted them. Yes. The president is like, you've given us a CS. You see, I have taken. So it's like, there is an expectation that Parliament, don't you dare reject these people. So it is based, I am sure that even some of these guys are already riding around in their limousines and perhaps have even gone into their offices. These appointments lack integrity. What integrity? What is it that he is trying to cure? It is definitely not the face of Kenya. You can be sure about that.
Right.
These are the same people that have caused the problems that we have. It is nothing more than political prostitution. That is exactly what it is.
And the cohabitation.
The time is now for us as Kenyans to totally reject. You cannot give him another word. Mine has to be the final word. And my final word must be this. As Kenyans, we must realize that the political class have reached the end of their thinking capacity. They are not fit for purpose. We are trying. Yeah. Okay.
Some allow me
they have
to.
No ideas.
Some allow me.
They are not.
Sorry. Allow me.
No. Sam, you cannot allow him to have
it's not on the topic. Sam, it is not on the topic, and allow me to pass.
Just hold on.
My condolences.
To the tail end of the show, Senator, please. So the president said that I decided let us have an administration that has the broader face of Kenya. That's why some come from different political formations. That is how we agreed with ODM. We did not form a coalition government so that anyone tells us we are trying to compromise oversight. I am not very keen on who takes credit. I am keen on the transformation of the country. That's what the president said. Let's take a look at the feedback. No, you can't. Let's take a look at the feedback that has come to us at Citizen TV Kenya. Sam Gituku, the hashtag to use is Citizen Daybreak, and then thereafter listen to one short clip from Azimio. Sankale Brown, you're saying that JKA is our international gateway. It needs a facelift. Another runway. This will increase international landings. Okay. Crispinas Adams is saying, why would the government engage in deals involving national strategic security installations such as JKA without public participation? Transparency is a must. 30 years is a long time based on the amount involved considering the security risks. Sandixon Dugira, a government by secrecy benefits only those few mighty ones behind the scene. It injures the people it seeks to serve. It damages its own integrity and operation. It breeds distrust, dampens the fervor of its citizens, and mocks their loyalty. Treble Macho, you're saying that public-private partnership has become the new tap through which leaders entrusted with the public purse enrich themselves by purporting to contract private entities, while in actual fact they are part
of the deal.
Of beneficiaries of those entities. Gumba Steve, you're saying that where there is smoke, there is fire. We can't just dismiss the rumors on sale of JKA and rubbish it like that. Can all the concerned come clean on the PPP agreement? Meanwhile, let Onyonka accept that ODM is out of opposition, or Ipa et al. Can take over. You know, 30 years, sorry, Senator, 30 years is since 1994.
Yes.
And the Standard is talking about tight corner. The Deputy President's fate hangs in the balance. And the story that is on page 4 of the Standard gives details about the numbers in Parliament, saying that UDA has 144 members, ODM has 86, Jubilee 28, and several other members that are affiliated to Kenya Kwanza. They are doing a total that if you have to assume that ODM is affiliated to the Kenya Kwanza, you have 297 members of the National Assembly affiliated to that side. On the other side of maybe minority. Wiper has 26, DAPK 5, KANU 6, total 37. There are 12 independent members of the National Assembly. To impeach or to pass a majority of 2/3, you require 234. 297 would be way higher. I think that's what the Standard is reporting today. Let's listen to the leaders of Azimio on what they said about what the decision by the president leads them to do.
Azimio pia tumesema tuna release mzee wetu aende ajitetee kwa kile kitu cha AU. Lakini sisi tutaendelea tukiona Mheshimiwa Kalonzo Musyoka akiwa kiongozi wetu na timu yetu ya wanaazimio kusimama nanyi wananchi kuendelea kuwatetea. Hatutawaacha.
Sisi sasa mwenye atakuwa akituongoza kwa hiyo safari itakuwa Kalonzo Musyoka. Steven Kalonzo Musyoka. Yeye ndio kiongozi wetu katika Azimio.
Kwa hiyo kama itaanguka naye wananisubiri ati niwe Attorney General, sijui niwe nini. Ya nini? Nilikuwa Vice President wa Kibaki. Niteremshe heshima hiyo ya Kibaki niende kuwa Attorney General? Haiwezekani. Na tutaanguka nao. Toto achilia. Zakayo tutaanguka naye. Hakuna, tuseme ukweli hapa. Tutoke hapa tukijua Kalonzo amesema ataanguka na Zakayo. Tutaanguka naye.
Okay, you cannot add anything else to that. Jeffrey Wandeto, thank you so much. Daisy Amdani, thank you so much. Senator Richard Onyonka for making time for us. No, you can't.
No, I'm not talking politics.
Up next is Matters Social with Safin.
Sami,
Omar.
with a
lot of
humility.
No.